Remember when the Democratic Party kept insisting that the border was secure? Yeah, well, after getting their asses handed to them in the election, they finally admitted what we already knew. For the first 3.5 years of the Biden administration, they, along with their friends in the media, gaslit the American people, trying to convince us everything was fine.
Well, Democratic lawmakers facing backlash from Republicans for visiting the U.S.-Mexico border. A group of 7 Democrats, led by Congressman Benny Thompson, toured Homeland Security facilities near San Diego and met with Customs and Border Patrol officials on Friday. Now, this comes as migrant crossings have plummeted to their lowest monthly total ever amid President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. The Los Angeles Times says the California-Mexico border is now nearly empty, as agents there are making just 30 to 40 arrests per day, down from more than 1,200. Republican lawmakers are slamming the Democrats' visit, saying they should have done this years ago, and now it's too little, too late. News Nation's Jorge Ventura is live in San Antonio with more. So, Jorge, what do we know about this visit so far?
Well, Kelly, this visit by Democrats to the borders, it is coming at an interesting time there in the California border, in the San Diego sector, a sector that saw thousands of migrants arrive every single day just last year from all over the world. That's an area that I personally reported from, on the thousands of Chinese nationals crossing illegally on the California border. Now, Democrats visiting that sector of the border on Friday, led by Democratic Congressman Benny Thompson. What's interesting is this is also coming at a time where the migrant encounters are reaching record lows not seen in decades. The month of March finishing with around 7,180 migrant encounters for the entire month of March. That's just an average of 230 illegal crossings per day. Compare that to the Biden administration in the month of March that saw an average of 155,000 migrant encounters, finishing around 5,000 illegal crossings per day. Now, this border visit did include tours of the Department of Homeland Security border facilities along the border there in San Diego. The delegation heard directly from officials with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, as well as CBP Air and Marine Operations and Homeland Security Investigations. Democrats also met with officials with nonprofit organizations that did assist migrants under the Biden administration. Now, the border crisis on the California border is a completely different scene than it was just a year ago, when agents were averaging over 1,200 migrant encounters per day. Right now, you're actually looking at video that I shot there on the California border. You see there are hundreds of Chinese nationals actually paying smugglers up to 35 grand to be smuggled at the California border. Now, agents say they're seeing less than 40 migrants per day. This also comes as troops were also deployed to the southern border, assisting agents on the ground in a support role, also installing concertina wire there near the port of entry in San Ysidro. What is interesting, though, Kelly, is what did the House Democrats say about their visit? Well, we don't know, because their visit was closed off to the media, so members of the press didn't get directly to ask them those questions. But House Republicans slamming that visit, saying it's too little, too late. Kelly.
All right, News Nation's Jorge Ventura. Jorge, thank you.
Now, if you ask me what or who was the bulwark of the defeat, I would say Alejandro Mayorkas.
Joining me now is the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. Good morning, Mr. Secretary. I want to start right there. We heard the sheriff say it, the governor say it, and the migrants I spoke to say it. They are coming across because they believe they will be welcomed under the Biden administration. You said yourself 3 weeks ago, we're not saying don't come, we're saying don't come now. President Biden had a stronger message later, but the messages are mixed at best, Mr. Secretary.
Martha, good morning. The message is quite clear. Do not come. The border is closed. The border is secure. We are expelling families. We are expelling single adults under the CDC's authority, under Title 42 of the United States Code, because we are in the midst of a pandemic, and that is a public health imperative. We are encouraging children not to come. Now is not the time to come. Do not come. The journey is dangerous. We are building safe, orderly, and humane ways to address the needs of vulnerable children. Do not come.
I know you're trying to get that message out now, but your team was also briefed by career professionals at DHS during the transition about the possibility of this crisis. You yourself say we are on pace to have one of the largest migrant surges in 20 years. Why were you not prepared for this?
Martha, let me be clear. We have seen large numbers of migration in the past. We know how to address it. We have a plan. We are executing on our plan, and we will succeed. This is what we do. But one thing is also clear, that it takes time. And why does it take time now? Why is it especially challenging and difficult now? Because the entire system under United States law that has been in place throughout administrations of both parties was dismantled in its entirety by the Trump administration. So we are rebuilding the system as we address the needs of vulnerable children who arrive at our borders. And that is what it
But
is
Mr. Secretary,
all about. It is about
you knew
vulnerable
this coming
children.
in. It's exactly about vulnerable children. You have approximately 5,200 children currently being held in adult border facilities, well over the 2019 peak during the Trump administration. They're only supposed to stay there for 72 hours, but they've been there for more than 10 days, 650 kids, and it's getting worse. Let me read you a tweet from Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat from Connecticut who was with you on a trip down here. He said, just left the border processing facility, hundreds of kids packed into big open rooms. In a corner, I fought back tears as a 13-year-old girl sobbed uncontrollably, explaining through a translator how terrified she was, having been separated from her grandmother and without her parents. Murphy said these are facilities you wouldn't want to put your child in for more than 10 minutes. I know you say you have a plan now, but again, how did this happen? You knew there was a pandemic before. HHS had failed to do this before as well under Obama, under President Trump. So how do you speed this up, and how did this happen?
Martha, it takes time. We all know what happened to that 13-year-old girl in the prior administration. She was turned away and turned into the desert of Mexico, or sent back to the very country from which she fled by reason of fear of persecution. We are addressing the needs of that child now. When I say it takes time, I mean it, because we're dealing with a dismantled system. And we did not have the ordinary, safe and just transition from one administration to another. And so we are executing on our plans. We have dispatched FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, to assist HHS in building additional capacity to address the needs of children and to move those children through to their sponsors in the United States to shelter them in the way that they deserve and that their needs require. That is what we are doing. And when people speak of, well, you knew of this, plans aren't made at 20,000 feet. Plans are contracts, personnel, policies, training, procedures, all of the elements of operations that were entirely dismantled, and taking care of a workforce that was not vaccinated and not
Mr. Secretary,
protected from the COVID-19 pandemic.
I want to stop you there, and I want to know, if you've got this great plan, why will you not let the media in? I understand privacy concerns, but will you let them in today or this week?
Martha, it is not only privacy concerns. Let me be clear, we're in the midst of a pandemic. We're talking about a crowded Border Patrol station where we are focused on operations. At the same time, and let me assure you that we are working on a plan to provide access so that people could see what is going on in a Border Patrol station. And I would encourage people to also see a Department of Health and Human Services facility where the children are sheltered and where they belong and where we are moving them to.
You talk about the Trump administration and what was in place there. You did away with that. Wouldn't it have been better to have a plan before you did away with that?
We are executing the plan that we have, and let me share with you, because we will succeed. And when we look back at this time, however difficult it has been, we will get through it, and we will get through it successfully. What we will all say is that we worked our way through a difficult time. We administered the laws as they were intended, and we lived up to our values and our principles as a nation. And that is what we are accomplishing, and that is not what was done in the prior administration. It's tough, but we can do it. This is what we do, and we will accomplish our mission.
Imagine standing in front of a camera, dead serious, telling the American people the border is secure when anyone with eyes could see it wasn't even close. I'm not even going to call him incompetent because what happened wasn't accidental. Flooding the country with millions of illegal immigrants wasn't a mistake. It was intentional, deliberate, and premeditated. I remember telling a friend of mine like 2 years before the election that Trump was going to win. And that was way back when Fani Willis was going after Trump's allies and the Democratic Party were having a feud day with it, thinking they had it all locked up. But what they didn't understand or underestimate is how much America cared about the border. The constant flow of illegal immigrants became too big to ignore. For over 3 years, they denied it. They gaslit us. Then suddenly, 6 months before the election, they decided to take the issue seriously. Out of nowhere, they wanted Congress to grant citizenship to millions of immigrants or millions of illegal immigrants already here. Then toss Republicans a few crumbs to build a bit of the wall and boost border boost border patrol just enough to look tough on that issue. Their plan was to lock in millions of new votes and take a victory lap like they've solved a border crisis they claimed didn't exist for the past 3.5 years. And that was wild. Some Republicans were ready to get along with it, ready to hand the Democrats exactly what they wanted, but Trump was like, nope. He understood the pulse of the American people. He knew how important immigration was to the American electorate. So he stepped in and threatened to primary any Republican who voted and ultimately killed the bill. Then just about 4 months before the election, Biden administration finally realized the polling wasn't going their way. The American people weren't buying their BS. So what did Biden do? He passed an executive order that limited the number of illegal immigrants allowed per day. And guess what? That there proved we don't need Congress to fix the border. The law already exists. Executive action can handle it. And Trump is showing us now. And Biden confirmed it back then, after pretending for years that it wasn't possible. And let's not forget Kamala Harris. Her strategy, if you can call it that, was to blame Trump for the border crisis. That was just comical. Anyway, here's a clip of 17 times the Biden administration, with a straight face, say that the border was secure. Let's roll it.
The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border.
The border is, in fact, secure.
A record 221,000 migrants crossed into the U.S. last month.
Our border is secure. We believe certainly that the border is secure.
1,300 migrants a day.
We have taken unprecedented action over the past year and a half to secure our border and rebuild a safer and orderly process system.
This year is on pace to be the deadliest year for migrants crossing into this region of Texas in recent memory.
The border is secure. The border is secure, and the border is not open.
Crossings are still at an all-time high, with Border Patrol reporting more than 1.8 million apprehensions from October 2021 through July.
The border remains closed. It is not open. We are turning away the majority of adults, but
the border is secure. The border is closed.
So we are offering solutions. That's what the Biden-Harris administration has been doing since day one.
This is worse now than it was before.
A record number of migrants this year, and the total could surpass 2 million by the end of September.
We're certainly doing a lot more to secure the border.
We have a secure border.
And we have a process in place to manage migrants at the border.
A record surge of migrants in New York City.
Over 2 million illegal immigrants crossing the southern border, an all-time record.
The border is secure.
We agree that the border is secure.